Hello and good evening, everybody, or good morning, afternoon, depending on the time of day you're actually watching this video. It's evening for me, so for me, good evening is appropriate. Now, I'm not going to be doing any OCD tonight, although the book and therapy dog are still with me. They're both with me still, but I want to talk about tonight about the inner child. The inner child exists in all of us. Now, I saw a video the other day that basically talked about the man child. You know, the person that I am, and chances are you know one as well. The person that's constantly dreaming and holds himself back through absolute fear. That's me, the man child. I let fear control my life, which is how I'm in the situation I'm in now. I let fear of everything pretty much stand in my way for most things in life. And I shouldn't be laughing because it's a serious problem. But that's not, well, that's partially. But it all started, I should say, this thing a few days ago when I saw this video on YouTube. As I said about the man child. One of the things it said is, to get ahead in life, you've got to kill your inner child. You know, the part of you that dreams and fantasizes about different things and wants to do fun things, you know, like watch films, read books, play video games and all that lot. And it made me pretty depressed. Because if I'm honest, my inner child is pretty much me. I spend most of my spare time dreaming. I do spend time playing video games and reading books and fantasizing about leading a life that isn't mine. I often fantasize about being someone else. Someone more interesting. Someone who has a girlfriend and success and isn't held back by fear. Essentially, you could say I fantasize being the person I want to be. Which, like a lot of things in life, is not a bad thing. But it must be done in, portions, you know? Or within limits, you know? You gotta do things in moderation, that's the word. Moderation. That's the word. Moderation. And like most, it has to be done in moderation. It's like video games, fine. But in moderation. Alcohol is okay, but moderated, you know? All other things you enjoy, moderation. And I was feeling pretty down, I will say, about having to kill someone, because it seemed like killing the very essence of me, and that fear really started to dominate. It is now. But I came to a conclusion today. That inner child, I'll tell you that, I'm not going to kill my inner child. I refuse. I refuse to kill my inner child. Because why? I get the whole, you know, I'm an adult, I should act like it, but it doesn't mean we should lose our inner child, our innocence, you know? That is part of who I am, and I should accept that, I should embrace it, you know? But what I need to do is control my inner child. I've got to set boundaries on my inner child, you know? I've got to say, no, we're going to do this thing. Like a real child, you know? You can't just let your children control your life, you know? Your inner child is the same as a regular child. You can't let it control what you do. Within reason anyway. I'm not saying you should be a dictator to your kids if you do have them, but you can't let your children control every aspect of your life, which I have done for pretty much 40 odd years, which is why I'm here now, basically. Because my inner child was always a comfort, you know? It's like my fantasies. The fantasy worlds I live in. They're comforting, you know? You know, I'd go to work, I'd have a long, hard day at work, I'd come home on my own, if I was on my own, and, you know, I could be on my own with my fantasies. It was nice. Yeah? But sometimes it got too much. You know, and that inner child who had a say suddenly became dictator of my life. But you can't let your inner child control everything, you know? You got to learn to live in harmony with your inner child, essentially. Control it, you know? There's a time when your inner child should come out, and there's a time when your inner adult should come out, you know? I hope I'm making sense when I say this. I've just realised I look very orange today. Then again, it's my fault for having a red lampshade and considering it's against the yellow wall. No, it doesn't mean it doesn't matter, because it's not about looking at me. It's about, how you say, listening to the words I say. And as I said, do not kill the inner child, okay? Because everyone has one, okay? And if you sacrifice your inner child, okay, then there's not going to be much enjoyment, because everything's going to be about doing the things that you think you're supposed to do, you know? Not everyone has to be the best person they can. Some people are happy without ambition. Some people don't want to get married, you know? Some people don't want families. Part of me does want a family. I'll be honest with you, part of me does want a family. If I'm honest though, it's mostly because I watch Bob's Burgers and they seem to have a really happy life despite, you know, working every hour God sends them. I kind of wish I had that. None of the shows really made me want a family or anything. Although, my inner child holds me back on that because I'm convinced I'll be a terrible parent. There's that fear that I'll make some point make a mistake and I'll either cost them their lives or they'll end up hate me forever. You know? It's really sad. The inner child has controlled everything in my life. And I've always stuck to things I know, always stuck to what was comforting because I never wanted to feel uncomfortable, which is natural, you know? It's only natural to feel comfortable. But eventually you got to get out your comfort zone, which is where I have my trouble. I don't want to leave my comfort zone, I will admit. It's nice in my comfort zone. I know everyone there. I know how everything works. You know? But it's not real, you know? The comfort zone, well, it is real. The comfort zone is real, but the comfort zone will bring you down. Like any addiction in this world, it will bring you down and hold you back, and it can take so much from you if you let it, like it has with me. But it's not too late for me. And it's not too late for you either. You know who you are. Okay? It's not too late to take back control. So, we're going to go back to my mantra, alright? Now repeat after me, okay? I'm going to give you a few seconds to get your breath back. And I want you to say this, okay? Now, if you're on your own, say it loud. If you're with other people, just say it in your head up here. Or hum it at least. I am the man. Or pronoun of your choice. I don't judge who you are. Everyone's welcome on this channel, and everyone's welcome to join me on my journey. I have the power. Okay? You have the power, okay? So let's start again, alright? I am the pronoun of my choice. And I have the power. Okay? To take control. And I can do this. And I will do this. Now I'm aware that this mantra thing I do repeat every now and again, okay, changes. Because, you know, I don't actually remember it. But apart from the first bit. You know, I'm the pronoun of my choice and I have the power. But apart from that, I don't really know. I tend to forget it. But the point is, you have the power to do this, okay? And you've got to be positive about this, okay? You've got to be positive. Because without, okay, you're not, okay? I don't want anyone to make the same mistakes I did, okay? And if you have already done, okay, I don't want you to come to conclusions that I did, okay, when you're in your 50s or your 60s. So, when you go to bed tonight, say hello. If you neglect your inner child, say hello. Let them out for a bit. But if, like me, you let your inner child dominate, you've got to control, you know, learn to control it. And then, you know, maybe life can get better. Or at least try. I said I was going to turn my life around, conquer my fears, and I'm going to do it. Just you freaking watch me, okay? Watch me, okay? And I want you, if you're struggling like I am, okay, and I want you to do the same, okay? I want you to try and take back control. Because you can do it. I can do it. We can all do it. Okay? And mostly, the thing you need to remember more than anything is that most people go through struggles. Okay? They may be different, but everyone goes through struggles. Just that they've got their act of looking like they've got it all together under so much control that it looks like they're doing alright. So I'm going to leave this here because I've been recording for longer than I thought it would be. So I want you all to have a good think. Okay, I want you to focus on your dreams, focus on your goals, and get that inner child of yours under control. Under by no means, okay, lock him away or her away or them, however you see yourself. Okay, do not lock your inner child away, or even worse, kill your inner child. Okay, it's a part of who you are, and who you are is amazing. All right, absolutely amazing. So take care of yourselves, okay, people, and take care of yourselves and take care of your loved ones. All right. Most importantly, stay positive. Until next time, bye.